Okay. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I guess I'll get started then. First I gotta import the reference image that I got. Alright. So this painting is actually done by an artist named RJ Palmer. I encourage you guys to go and check out his work. He's a really awesome concept artist, and he agreed to let me sculpt some of his Pokemon drawings for him, so I decided to start with Charizard because he looks really awesome. Hopefully you guys have been following me on Twitter and have been seeing the works in progress along the way, but here's what I've got so far. And I'm noticing that the arms here look a little funky, so I'm going to try and push them back. I'm also playing music on Spotify, and I don't have premium, so I'm sorry if it starts playing ads. It's really annoying. Okay. So, it's looking pretty good so far. If you guys see anything that looks wrong or weird, let me know in the chat so I can work on that. Alright, I'm gonna start working on the face a bit more. Thank you. I have him kind of at a low resolution right now because I'm still sort of blocking him out, so don't mind that. I don't really know how I'm going to go about the teeth, but I'm going to probably go with the snake hooks tool. Oh, I gotta turn on back face masking because I noticed it was sort of sculpting through the mesh. And you turn on back face masking and it stops doing that. Alright, now we'll refine those a little bit more later. Let's see what's going on up here. Someone's asking which computer I use. I'm actually on a MacBook right now. It's not ideal, but I am pretty fond of it. I'm actually... How long have I been working on him? This has been kind of like a side project for me, so I've been working on it on and off for probably a couple weeks now, but only a couple hours here and there. So I'm kind of taking my time on him because this is something that I'm doing for fun, for myself. Oh yeah, absolutely. I plan on recording my process painting him. I think I'm going to poly paint him inside of ZBrush once I'm finished sculpting him. So, I can't really say which I prefer, Mac or PC. I would probably say I prefer the Mac because that's what I've been using for so long, because that's what I've had to use for school. But I am really fond of the PC. Alright. I've been avoiding the hands because they look really derpy, but... Let's start flushing them out. Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so I'm sorry for all you people staying up at, like, the crack of dawn. But thank you for tuning in. I realize the hands look really weird right now. Bear with me, I promise they'll look better in just a minute. At least I hope they do. I haven't pulled out the claws yet, so let's get that snake hooks brush. Hello, people. I am. I use a Wacom tablet. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it correctly, but that's what I'm using. I really don't recommend sculpting without a tablet. Sorry, I keep looking down. I don't know if that looks weird, but I have the chat open on my phone until I get a dual monitor set up. So as you can kind of see, he's still pretty blocky. I'm gonna divide the geometry as soon as I feel pretty happy with the shape and how he's looking, so I can get into the details. Oh yeah, I do. I use a Wacom tablet. Oh, let's see. It's Intuos Medium, I think. I wish I had a Cintiq. Someday. That is the ultimate goal. Alright. So I've been having a lot of trouble with his claws because I've never really done reptile claws before, and you should see me working on the feet. It was terrible. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get the shape, like, just looking at the reference image and trying my best, but I don't know about this. I'll have to practice sculpting more lizards or something. Alright, enough of that. When it's still in the blocky phase, I'm like constantly grabbing the move tool and sort of pushing stuff around. So you'll probably see me doing that a lot. That. How about the face? Some more. I jump around a lot when I'm sculpting, so sorry about that. Let's see. Claws come out of the top, not the front. That's some pretty good advice. I'll give that a shot. It does kind of look like that. You're right. I probably should be jumping back and forth between Maya and ZBrush or something like that, but I'm kind of lazy. And I've blocked out the entire thing so far completely in ZBrush. I started out with a sphere and just pushed and pulled it into shape until I got Charizard, so yeah, laziness. It's the way to go, I'm telling ya. If you want to be lazy, then you should be a game artist, so you could just sit at the computer all day, every day, and make it your job.
2000. 23%.
Oh, yep, there's the Spotify ads. Sorry about that, guys.
We're close, but the fight isn't over.
Big Tobacco's been using us in ways we didn't even realize.
And they're not backing down.
But together, we can be the generation that ends smoking.
There are a bunch of ways you can take action.
Help us finish it.
Go to thetruth.com and choose your way.
Alrighty. Let's see, what else am I missing?
Every day brings new possibilities and the creative inspiration to see your art in action. Academy of Art University offers 28-degree programs in art and design taught by leading industry experts, helping you launch your creative career. Study in San Francisco in our state-of-the-art facilities or in our flexible classes online to pursue your passion. It's time to connect your ideas with the right industry. Click here to learn more about Academy of Art University and see how being creative works.
I'm also just listening to one of the Twitch audio library playlists on Spotify, so I don't know what any of this music is. I don't know how I'm going to model the fire. I'll probably have to do something not sculpted for the tail. So far I've just got that. I mean, I could just sculpt the tail fire, but it wouldn't look as convincing. So I might just add it in later. Also, I see he's got all these little spiky things on his back that I've kind of got to add in, so I'm gonna just make it up as I go, I guess. I might get an alpha for that later, actually. It would be kind of easy to just, like, draw it on with an alpha. Let's see. Thanks. Speaking of alphas, I did get a bunch of really cool alphas for this guy just off of the ZBrush download library. So I might want to try some of those out. So I downloaded all these. Oh, jeez. There we go. So let's go standard brush. Okay, got my alpha. I like to use the drag rectangle, so down here instead of the dots or freehand, I like to do the drag rectangle, and then you can just kind of like drag it out and see how it looks. This one I think would do best on the legs. Yeah, Charizard's got some saggy looking skin. Needs to work out more. Or less. Maybe that's a problem. I still gotta fix those hands, but I'm just gonna leave them like that for now. I have a lot of fun with alphas, so whenever I start to get bored of blocking out, I just like to test them. This one's looking pretty good. And it'll probably look good on the bottom of the tail too, I'm thinking. Okay. His neck is looking pretty gnarly. I don't know what's going on there. I'm gonna try and fix that up now. I've been kind of pushing and pulling it a lot to get it into the right shape. Like, as I've been blocking him out, the head just keeps getting bigger. I don't know why. So I gotta sort of like nudge this back into place, which is annoying. And I think his eyes are a little bit closer to his nose. Let's see. Does Charizard have a belly button? I mean, kind of. It's like you can see where it's supposed to be, but there's not really one there. Okay, see, like, that's really weird looking. Alright, now that I got it a little better into place, I'm gonna fix the musculature and such in here. Also, I apologize because, like with the hands, my lizard anatomy skills are not very refined, so I know that a lot of this anatomy is probably wrong, and I'm kind of basing a lot of it off of just the picture here and what I know of human anatomy. So a lot of it's probably not correct. Any of you anatomy nerds out there might get a little frustrated with me. I'm just doing this for fun. Also, a cool trick, I don't know if you knew this, but the way that you zoom in and out in ZBrush by holding the Alt key and letting it go, you can also do the same thing with the Shift key to like turn it sideways. It's kind of handy. Am I going to make Pikachu in the future? I might. If Charizard goes well and people want to see more Pokemon, I might just do Pikachu. Okay. What do you think? Is his head still too big? Jigglypuff, that would be fun. Jigglypuff was my favorite for a long time. I think his mouth is too long. Like this part here, maybe? What is this song called? Let's check. We're listening to Time Leap by Aerochord. Alright, I'm gonna leave the head alone because it's starting to frustrate me, and I think I'll be able to fix it up better when I go back and pose him, so it'll be easier to match with the reference. I think, if anything, maybe his chest is just too low. Yeah, no problem. Sorry if I get a little bit of a lag with the chat, I think, so...
At Squarespace, we believe in the power of
Okay, let's see.
to create great things, whether that's a business, a personal brand, or a portfolio. Some of the top creative professionals in the world use our simple
So I
and
think I'm gonna
powerful
go
platform
back
to easily
and
showcase
work on the
their ideas
teeth a
online.
little bit.
Start your free trial today and use offer code SPOTIFY to save 10%. Whatever your idea is, build it beautiful on Squarespace.
With Internet Plus from Xfinity, get fast internet and the entertainment you want without all the jumping around. Watch shows live on your TV at home.
HBO and movies on all your devices. For only $49.99 a month for 12 months.
It's the easy way to get it all with Internet Plus from Xfinity. Visit Comcast.com/Internet Plus to learn more.
Okay. So I'm using the inflate tool, which I happen to love because I do a lot of this derpy blocking stuff out in ZBrush instead of in Maya, and when you're pushing and pulling things a lot, stuff can get really stretched out pretty easily, but the inflate tool kind of fixes that problem. It's like my way of being lazy and how I deal with it. Let's see. The teeth less pulling out of the mouth. Yeah, they're kind of gigantic. And they're pointing towards the floor. I'm not sure what you mean by pointing towards the floor. Pulling the teeth less pointing out of the mouth. Oh, so you mean they're like pointing out too far? Oops. That's a little bit better. Thank you. This is what's cool about Twitch. You guys can give me advice and tell me when something looks weird, because it's really hard to see when something looks off when you've been staring at it for like days at a time. So I like having the interactive chat. This is really cool. Thank you. Gotta figure out what's going on up here. This is all messed up. I'm gonna use the Damien standard tool instead of pulling these ones out because they're smaller. I'll have better control this way. This is the problem with not blocking out ahead of time like you're supposed to do. So if you're going to be doing this, don't be lazy like me. Block it out. Block all the teeth out. Luckily, I'm not too concerned about the teeth looking perfect, so it doesn't really matter to me that much. But if you were going to do something like super high res and you wanted to be zooming in on his face a lot, then yeah, you probably want to make the teeth separate and a little bit more I don't know, professionally, I guess. But I'm just gonna get him in there just to have something there. But I'm not overly concerned about it. To texture him, I'm going to, I think I'm going to paint him in ZBrush using poly paint, and I'll have to retopologize him. Hello! And then you can convert the poly paint right into a texture, so you can go to texture map, create, new from poly paint, which is what I like to do with a lot of the things that I'm kind of just like this, just kind of doing for fun. And of course, in order to do that, you need to already have the UVs laid out, so I'll have to retopologize him first and map out the UVs for a texture, and then I can go in and paint him and then export the poly paint as a texture. I hope that made sense. Well, it is like hand painting because I'll go in, I can show you really quick. I'll just go in and, oh shoot, can't use the move brush. Turn on RGB, and then preferably don't use an alpha. There we go. So I would just kind of paint him like that, and it's very similar to hand painting, I would say. And then you could even, another thing that I like to do is I will paint on like the base colors and then export that as a texture and then bring it into Photoshop and paint over it and, you know, do whatever. For this guy, it would probably be a good idea to bake some sort of an ambient occlusion map to get all these little crevices from his scales and stuff, and then bring that into the texture in Photoshop or whatever you have. So I might just do that as well. We'll see. How good can I draw? I think that's probably a matter of opinion. I'd probably like to say that I can draw pretty good, but yeah, you can check out my YouTube channel. Okay, so kind of getting bored of sculpting his teeth. I'm gonna save really quick. It would be really terrible if ZBrush just crashed in the middle of streaming. That happens to me a lot. One of the only things that I can't stand about ZBrush is that at the most horrible times possible, it will just crash. So let's hope it doesn't do that. Save often.
Today, only 9% of teens smoke.
Blender? I've used Blender, but it was a very long time ago, and I'm not very experienced in Blender enough to give you advice about it, I wouldn't think, but I do plan on actually getting it again because I highly support freeware, and it'd be really cool to do some videos on Blender. A lot of people ask about Blender, and a lot of people use it because it is free, and I think that's amazing, so hopefully I'll be able to get that soon and start messing around with it.
It's time to connect your ideas with the right industry. Click here to learn more about Academy of Art University and see how being creative works.
Okay. Alright, whoever told me that the claws come out of the front of the fingers, I feel like that already looks a lot better, so thank you for that. Getting a little bit more definition there with the Damien Standard brush, which is one of my all-time favorite brushes. It comes in handy so often. let's see. That's true. If you're going to be, if you're like hoping to get a job in the game industry or in the professional industry, then most people will be looking for you to be using Maya or Max. Those are the two most common and most popular softwares. But if you're just a hobbyist or, you know, like maybe even a freelancer, Blender probably works really well. I've seen some really amazing art created with Blender. Alright, I guess that's looking a little bit better. I'm still not really happy with it, but I can work on it some more later. It's getting close to an hour now, so I'll probably take a break at 3. I just realized that I forgot to have lunch, so I'm pretty hungry. Art critiques. I love doing art critiques. I love when people send me their work. So please, feel free if you're ever working on something. I get a lot of messages, so it might take me a while to respond, or you know, it might be a short response, but I will definitely critique anybody's work. You can message me on Twitter or Facebook, or I will check the link. Oh, is that something that you did? I will check the link after the streaming. I don't think I can check the links right now. His arms are looking weird all of a sudden. No, I got your link. Alright. Now that I figured out how to do the claws a little bit better, I will go back and fix the feet up a little. Oops. One problem with the Damien standard brush is that the intensity is usually way too high. That's probably why it was giving me such a hard time.
dismay. It won't break this feeling down. If I conquer this my way,
Charizard has these like crazy gnarly nails going on. I don't know how you feel about that. Someone else asked if I was using a mouse or a tablet, and like I said earlier, I'm using a Wacom tablet. It's an Intuos 5, I believe. Let me check. Intuos 5 Touch. I really like it. And like I said earlier, I definitely would not recommend trying to sculpt with a mouse. It's just so much easier to sculpt with a tablet that it's not even worth trying to sculpt with a mouse. I unfortunately haven't really tried enough of the other brands to give you any advice on them. All I can really say is that I really like my Wacom tablet, and I think it's the most widely used. They're expensive though, that's the only issue with them. So it really depends on you, what your budget is, and that sort of thing. But I definitely would recommend the Wacom tablet. Wow, I got really disoriented there. Frame. Oops. There we go. I think those claws definitely look a lot better than they did before, so I'm pretty happy with that. This one kind of comes out on the side. Are you suggesting we should give him like a full-on pedicure, paint his nails? I think purple goes with orange really well. Okay, the camera is really... There we go. Okay. Alright, well, this has been a lot of fun, but I think I'm gonna take a break for now. I really want to thank you guys for watching and for joining me on my very first Twitch streaming. It was really It was a process trying to figure out how it works, but... Oh yes, thank you for reminding me. Patreon. I have a Patreon account. If anybody is really interested in me doing more Twitch streaming, then please feel free. It's obviously no obligation, but if you have some extra money and you feel like supporting a really fun artist, then head over to my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Ellaloon. Really easy. Just check it out, but I will continue to do this whenever I have time, and I will continue to make as many videos as I can, because I just have fun doing it, but I think that's about it. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and I hope to see you again next time.